Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast, YouTubes, whatever, wherever you're at, Facebooks. So I just got back from Greece. It was I go there once a year to go visit family and just have a proper vacation. And I just something about it. I just it's my one true place in the world that I can truly reset. You know, I grind for all this time. I work my ass off, and then I just go, pop Rux tracks and just work out and eat good food and sit on the beach and drink coffee. Anyways, this trip was a little bit different. And before I get into this story of like what I saw and what I'm going to talk about, and you need to put your tinfoil hat on and then hit that subscribe button, because as my man Mario said, 90% of you guys that watch this video are not subscribed. So let's stick it to the YouTube gods and subscribe, get notified so you actually hear a different message that normally is not on YouTube other than me and my friends. So here we are in Greece, and I'm looking around. And typically over the years, I've looked, when I went there, it was, guys were, they're not like fitness models, but they're not overweight. They have muscle on them. They're leaner, and they're not. They look like normal. They just look normal. This last trip, it's kind of been progressing, but this last trip really shocked me. All the guys on the beach look like a big plate of galactobudico. And if you don't know what that is, it's one of the best desserts in the world. We'll fight anybody who disagrees. And you should go try it at moderation. But these guys look like a plate of it. They just look like Wall-E characters out of Wall-E. And I'm talking with my wife, and I'm like, what is going on, man? And it's just, the more that I looked into it and the more that I dug, I put my tinfoil hat on and I went down the rabbit hole. And then, as I've been talking about this stuff for a while, but there is a plan. There is a plan to make you weak. So let's just think about it this way. If I want to invade a country, which we have before, right? My generation has definitely done that. Were we worried about the women and the children? No. Were we worried about the elderly? No. We were worried about military-age males. That was the threat. If I was going to invade Canada, I would not be worried about anything other than military-age males. If somebody was going to invade our country, what is a threat? Us. So for the last several decades, what have they been doing? Dismantling the family unit, making masculinity bad, labeling it as bad, labeling patriarchy as bad, doing whatever they can to criminalize men and, for minor crimes and lock them in jails for decades. And then what? Remove the men from the home, right? And then on top of that, we want to create a system to where you're hand to mouth, living paycheck to paycheck, and also fat. What is the true epidemic of a health epidemic for men? Heart disease and diabetes. So let's look overseas all of a sudden. Next thing you know, there's KFC all over the place and McDonald's and Starbucks, and it didn't used to be that way. And as you dig into this stuff and who owns these companies, who owns Hollywood, who owns the news, who owns McDonald's and General Mills and all these different things, there's like 3 different corporations. 2 of them, Blackstone and Vanguard, and only 80-something% of all of these different things, Hollywood, news, all this stuff, right? Pharmaceutical companies. So we know that obviously if you're just have your eyes open, our president is not the president of the United States. He's not running the country. So who is running the country? I think I have an idea who's running the country. And if you want to take over a country, and I've said it on this podcast before, if you want to take over this country, what do? You take the power away from the men. You make them fat and lazy, and you make them dependent on the system. If you are living paycheck to paycheck, if you have fucking fat around your waist, sir, you have been played. You have been fucking played, because now they can control you. They can control you with your healthcare. They can control you with your job, not to mention digital currency. All this talk about digital currency, social credit scores. You need to go earn a paycheck. You're living paycheck to paycheck. So they've created a system here in the United States as well as overseas now to where they give you a job that you make just enough. And they get you to think that you need to have a lifestyle that meets that job. Right? You have the exact amount of money every month until the next month. Now, when something happens and they say, well, you need to do this, you got to take this shot to keep getting paid. What are you going to do? You're forced. You're not free anymore. You're a slave to the system. So what do you have to do? You get that shot, right? Because you got a family to feed. And you got health care. You got to get your prescriptions, right? Because you got heart disease and diabetes. You got to get that insulin. You got to get that heart pill, the purple pill, right? Because you don't want to die. And you don't have the physical fitness. You don't have the energy, right? To stand up and say, no, not for me and my family, not for me and my community, not for me and my town. So you've been played. You fell right. We have all fell right into their system. And I once was. And meanwhile, you got all the conservatives and all the right-wing people going, rebel, we're going to take back our country, and you're going to put this person in office and that person in office, and we're going to stand up and we're going to talk. You know what it is? It's a bunch of this. Because this ain't getting shit done. And if you look around and talking about it on social media, ain't getting shit done. You know what is getting shit done? You want to be a rebellious person? You want to rebel against the system? You want to show these individuals that we can't be controlled? Simple. Get fucking fit. Sounds crazy. Get fit. Take control of your own health. Take control of your own wealth. Modify your lifestyle, downsize, change things, learn skills, become a mastery at something, charge people for skills that you have. Change your circumstances. If you're living paycheck to paycheck right now, that should be, and you're overweight, this should be your sole mission. Your mission should be to figure that the fuck out. Whatever you need to do to put more money in your pocket, stop living paycheck to paycheck, and get the fucking fat off your waist. Because what happens when somebody has money and what happens when somebody has fit? They're confident and they have freedom. Somebody in the Agoge the other day, we were talking about this message right here, and somebody in the Agoge goes, you know what happened? I was living paycheck to paycheck. Good guy. Jonathan, if you're watching, thank you for being in the Agoge and thank you for sharing. He goes, I was living paycheck to paycheck and I got fed up, and some things happened that we know about. And his wife was basically like, put it in an ultimatum, like, hey, either you get this thing or we're going to have to let you go. Well, he had went so full force into his own business, into becoming a master at what he does, he made more money in that year. And he continued to snowball. And he had the financial freedom to go, babe, you stick by your morals and you say no. And if you get fired or you get let off or you quit, it doesn't change us one bit. Now, what would happen if Jonathan was still working paycheck to paycheck, still overweight, not in the Agoge? I'm not saying it's not a sales pitch for the Agoge, but there's some magical shit that happens in there. We rebel. We build wealth. We get fit. We train our family. He would have not been able to say that, and she might have had to take that jab. Who knows what could have happened? She could have died. But they were free because he was not part of the system. He operated on the outside. Now think about this. If every man in this country got fit and didn't live paycheck to paycheck, could we be controlled? Nah. We would be the ones making the decisions. We would be the ones that would not allow policymakers to be dictated by these corporations of what's going to happen in America, on who's running really America. It's the fucking people. And it's time that they get reminded. So how do you want to rebel? Get fit. Become a mastery at as a subject to where you can charge and you can change your circumstances and your finances and your family. That's how we rebel. You take ownership of your fucking life. If you need help with that, click that fucking link below. What are you waiting for? Never quit, never surrender, always forward. Share this video with a friend who knows he might piss him off, but you know it needs to hear it. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.